This episode is fueled by Mountain Ops, supplements to conquer more and crush your countdowns. Visit mountainops.com for all your supplemental needs. Fuel, recover, repeat.
We can talk to a man on the moon, but we can't figure out
Leighton says that all the time.
I do. I'm like,
Say it, dude.
At the beginning, we would have bad tech problems. I'm like, we went to the moon 100 years ago, but we can't freaking get this to work. Oh, I love that.
Oh man. Well, dude, welcome. It's good to see you.
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
So,
I'm excited
Good to meet you.
to see you guys again.
Yeah.
Well, I guess to see Drew again. I don't know that I've met you before, Leighton.
Nah, you haven't.
I've met Drew a couple times.
Leighton's actually AI, so I'm not sure if you'll,
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I've been messing with that a little bit. We've been learning how to use the AI a little bit. Maybe I can get you to do some something funny here.
Oh boy.
Dance monkey. All right. Welcome back to Countdown 2 Podcast. I'm your co-host, Drew.
I'm Leighton.
And we're brothers. And as we've said before, we are currently in a series of working with Mountain Ops to highlight their Conquer 90 challenge. It's a challenge they put on each year. And right now, they are 50% through, or halfway. Let's just say halfway. And in that, we developed a series of interviews with past and current Mountain Ops participants, whether they be winners or runners-up or whatnot. And so here with us, we have Cody Barton, who was the 2024 winner. Is that correct?
I was.
Nice.
Yeah, along with Sherry Foster.
Well, welcome to the show, Cody. Glad to have you here.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. So, Cody, just a little intro into who you are and what you do, if I may, just kind of setting the scene. Where are you from, and what do you do?
All right. So I live in central Utah. I was born here, wasn't raised here. I've lived Texas, Louisiana, Montana, Oklahoma. I've been around a bit. Came back here after I graduated high school, met my wife, got married, got 4 kids, 18
Nice.
to 12. Been in public safety for almost 20 years. A little more than the first half of that was in law enforcement and emergency management. The last 6 years have been with the fire department. I'm a career firefighter, so that's what I do now.
Nice. So little stress, little physical involvement, all that stuff. That's what I understand.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's not terrible sometimes. Some days are worse than others, and some days are pretty awesome.
Well, and all that while juggling not just kids, but like high school kids who are I'm assuming in sports and all that stuff too, right?
They do it all. I've got one in college and 2 in high school right now. They just finished up basketball. They're getting ready to get into baseball. Well, they've started baseball, and then my youngest, I don't think he ever finished baseball from this summer. He played all through the winter, and then he played basketball at the same time. So he's been on a couple different baseball teams, basketball team. We chase him from top to bottom.
Right? I almost feel like we
Keeps
need
you
to have
young.
your wife on too, just because she's clearly one of the ones that probably runs the whole household, all the kids' schedules, and her own as well. So,
Oh, she does. She's actually in the room with me. She's getting dinner ready for us. So,
well, awesome. Hey, we applaud you. We applaud you, Mrs. Barton.
well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So, hey, Cody, let's rewind. 2024. You're halfway through the Mountain Ops competition. You're not at the beginning excitement. Not the grind is midway through. So, at that point, honestly, how did you feel? Because you had amazing results, and I don't know if we can. Well, we'd have to ask permission to show your afterwards pictures, but you had amazing results. But to get there, obviously, it was quite a grind. So at that midway point, where were you at mentally, physically, all the above?
I was trying to think about it, and kind of as you gave us the template for what this conversation was going to be. And for me, the midpoint, I can't really pinpoint a specific day or put specific midpoint emotion or feeling, but I do know that right along then is when I started to actually see and notice some physical characteristic changes in myself a little bit more. Started to see, a little bit more of a jawline, a few less chins. Was able to fit in some pants that I hadn't fit in for a while.
Nice.
And that's when I started to see those, we'll call them non-scale victories. I think was kind of around that. I'm gonna use January, February, March as kind of in that February time zone is when I started to see that, kind of the end of February, beginning of March. Started to see those changes, and it was pretty inspiring. It was pretty awesome to be able to. I'm not gonna say inspiring. It's pretty motivating to be able to see those changes in myself. And then when people notice those things as well, I went to the expo that year, and Shauna was there, and she actually mentioned, she's like, hey, we can see that you're making some changes, you're doing awesome. Little things like that when people start to notice is when you really kind of take that motivation to the next level.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's great. So when you hit that midpoint, day 45, did you feel like you had momentum, or was it a little bit harder having to push through to finish than you expected?
I felt like for me, for this challenge, I felt like I kind of had momentum going through the whole thing. I've been doing challenges, don't quote me, but I think since like 2016, maybe
Quoted.
2017, somewhere right in there. And I'd started and finished, started and quit, started and fizzled out. I think I finished one in like 2019. But beyond that, it was just like I'd get through January, maybe a little way through February, and then get busy, or I'd get frustrated and get derailed, go eat a tube of chocolate chip cookie dough, and then just call it good. But
Feels familiar.
yeah, but no, I did. I felt like I had pretty good momentum on this one. A lot of just mostly because my mindset from the very beginning was I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I don't care what it takes. I don't care what the situation is, where it comes up. I'm going to finish this, and I want to win it.
No, that's awesome. Now, you're pretty involved with the Facebook group, the Mountain Ops Conquer Facebook group. And
try to be.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're a great motivator on there. You help me out a lot too, so I appreciate that. About this time, you start seeing people fall off, or they post less, or or they're just gone altogether, MIA. Were you seeing that last year about this time?
I think it's like you said, it's about every year you start to see some people fall off. You get people that are in there, they're gung ho. They've got a lot of, and when it comes to the Facebook group in and of itself, I think there's some interesting algorithms with who I see and what I see, because I think sometimes I see a lot of somebody, and other times I don't see a lot of other people that I think when you go back and look at their post history, they've posted a lot more than what I've seen. And so I'm not sure how all that plays out, but I didn't really notice a lot of people falling off per se. I guess I wasn't really paying attention to that, who was falling off. I guess you kind of get wrapped up in who's there. Who are the ones that are there? Who are the ones that are,
sure, that makes sense.
And we always try, and if someone's been there for a minute and then all of a sudden they've been pretty consistent and then they drop off, that's a little more noticeable, and you kind of reach out and figure out, hey, where'd you go? What's going on? What can we help you with?
Yeah.
Where's your head at? Where's your goals at? You want to try and help them out that way. But yeah, I think about this time you start to see, I know this is about the time that I would usually start dropping off. In past challenges.
Yeah, it's right. Pretty it's funny, we were like that, Drew and I were like that too for years, of like, okay, let's get healthy, and then falling off. And then the Conquer 90 2023, Drew, that was when you locked in, and then I locked in too, but did a separate challenge.
I mean locked in.
I think that's when I do remember, that's when, well, was it 23 or 24 when Drew did the original Yeti dry shot and he choked and puff and smoke.
No.
Oh, I didn't know he choked.
No.
Dude, it was amazing.
That wasn't Yeti dry shot. That was Magnum dry shot.
Oh, it was that's protein. Right. That's what it was. A Magnum dry shot.
Stupid.
And I remember thinking to myself, how in the world
who dry shots protein?
How was like
everybody was dry shotting. Everybody was dry shotting the Yeti, pre-workout, and I was just like, well, nobody's dry shotting the Magnum, and so I did it, and like I remember being like, that was the dumbest thing I ever. Like, I inhaled most of that, and like I was I'm gonna die on camera. Nobody's around. Yeah,
I've seen people do like the saltine cracker challenge and the cinnamon challenge, and
cinnamon,
they tell you to be careful because those. But I mean, inhaling Magnum is insanity. Like that was like next level. That was next level motivation right there.
Well, fortunately, that video is still circulating in the group, so I'm sure somebody can find it. Oh my gosh,
I'll find it.
That was incredible. Yeah, I definitely remember. That's kind of right around the time that Drew Starks came on scene, and Leighton, I apologize. I don't remember you as much. I think maybe because that was so ingrained in my mind was this Drew Starks guy. He's next level.
Crazy, next level crazy. Yeah, no, Leighton didn't come on the scene until 2024, 2025.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so I drive.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember a video. Drew, where you were doing a video and your kid had a dinosaur, and he kind of trotted the dinosaur across the video screen, and I thought that was pretty epic too.
Dude, you remember a lot more than I do. Holy cow!
It's fun. It's been fun to see different people in different situations and reactions. Those dry shot challenges are something else, though. I have done it. Yeah. I will say I've done it, but I won't say. I mean, it's not something I enjoy doing. That's for sure.
Yeah, no. The king is Vasquez. He does them all the time. I haven't seen him in a while, but he does it often. So
yeah,
maybe we need to bring that back.
Yeah.
Just don't die.
Let's see. I can dry shot the beta. No, I've seen what I have around.
I'm fairly new to the mountain ops community. Like, I've known about mountain ops. And Drew was doing his stuff, and I was doing CrossFit and my own thing, but we were keeping each other accountable. And we try not to, like, I don't know, take on each other's challenges. But now I'm like, I don't care anymore. So we're here. But
I can share.
Yes, exactly. Finally. Cody, looking back at the halfway point, what was the biggest mental challenge you were facing?
I think for me, like the biggest mental challenge, like I'll say it even at the halfway point and through the whole thing, was to stay steady and consistent. I wanted to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and lucky for me, I had Kelsey in my corner, and she got me pretty dialed in from the beginning. And even from the beginning, when she set my macros and she said, hey, this is the healthy level of calorie intake I want you to be at. This is healthy, sustainable, a calorie deficit. And I said, add 500. And she's like, no. and she wanted me to be somewhere around like the 500 calorie deficit. And I said, no, I want 1,000. And so from the very beginning, I was in 1,000 calorie deficit based on my perceived what's the word I'm looking for? My baseline per se. I'm usually right around, like for me to my baseline's right around 3,700. That's my maintenance. Is around 3,700 calories. And so I was in about a 2,700 calorie throughout the entire thing. And I kept wanting to go more and go harder and go do different things. And she had to keep pulling the reins and slowing me back. She's like, it's I get it. You're motivated. It's just not sustainable, and you're going to crash.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a good thing. So that was one of the harder things for me on the challenge, especially when I kind of started to see and gather some momentum.
You're like, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's dial this up another notch. But then, I mean, as far as the challenge in and of itself, I felt like I was pretty committed and pretty consistent throughout the challenge as far as that goes, with things that way. I had some things come in on the outside. I kind of felt like, to bring this around like to the spiritual side of things, I kind of felt like I had some challenges from the outside a little bit that were kind of weighing on me pretty hard. Some things that came out of the blue that kind of rocked my world on the private side that could have in the past derailed where I was at. And so some of that was was there, but yeah, I feel like that was probably about that time was one of the bigger challenges was to maintain that consistency, to not overdo it, to not crash and burn per se.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I'm going to change my question here a little bit, but I was going to say, like, on top of, you know, being with your family, shuttling them around, co-parenting, um, firefighter, all the above. I mean, how'd you keep going? I mean, you were grinding and putting in the effort and maxing out. Like, how'd you keep going?
100% my family. Having my family on board and in my corner, and I won't even say it was in my corner, it was our corner. Like, we did it as a family. Julie was doing the challenge at
Nice.
the
That's
same
cool.
time. My kids know and understand. Like, you could talk to any of my kids right now, and they'll explain macros to you. They'll explain protein to you. They'll explain they know what the creatine and the magnesium. They know the products. They know how to use them. And it was something that we did together as a family, and we planned for it.
Yeah.
The hardest part, obviously, going to baseball tournaments, like, very rarely any of the stuff that we participate in is any closer than an hour to an hour and a half from where we live. So we're traveling quite a bit. And you have to plan. You really, really have to plan for that. And whether that's, hey, this is when we're going to hit the grocery store, or this is what we're going to bring with us. And they were pretty on board with that. And that was huge, to have them. And then also, again, to reiterate, having Kelsey as a coach, somebody that was there consistently for me to constantly check in with and to hold me accountable both sides. So that was definitely huge.
Yeah.
I love that the teamwork. Your family's your team, so all working together.
Oh,
That's great.
100%. Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
absolutely, it wouldn't have worked and it wouldn't have happened without them. One thing you'll notice about me and the Mountain Ops has been amazing with me, with this aspect of things, but my family we do things as a group. We do things together. We participate in things together. They've come to the expo together. They love, like, this year my daughter helped work in the expo. The kids were there. They're
That's
all the
cool.
time. They come to the summits. They come to the it's one of those things that Mountain Ops has helped me embrace or allowed me to continue. It's just like, hey, they come with me. That's part of it's kind of a deal, and it's been amazing. Trevor's been awesome with it. Even this year, I said, hey, it's going to be expanded. What part of the 3-day expanded summit can my kids come to? And he's like, they better all be there the whole time. He knows.
I love it.
And so that's just kind of, we're pretty tight knit. I mean, if my Instagram's the Barton Posse Adventure, so that's just what we are and what we do. So
Love it. Were you so the whole challenge, were you focused on winning, or were you just trying to, get the best results for yourself?
no, I wanted to win it. I'd done
Yeah.
it so
Okay.
many times. I'd tried it so many times. I'd seen the results. I'd seen what it took. I knew where I needed to be, and when I finally started, and when this challenge came around, for whatever reason, my mindset was the entire time, and I don't want that to come off as presumptuous or arrogant or anything like that, because there was a lot of people that were in that challenge that probably could have done as well or better than me, or maybe did, but I just kind of committed that, you know what, if I've kind of fiddle farted around with this as much as I have for as many years as I have, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna win it. Part of that came from some of my motivators a little bit with this and for this challenge. It's not part of your question, but I'm going to kind of get into it a little bit anyway.
No, you're good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hunting's a big part of our life, and I went and I took my son. I think he was 12 at the time. It was his first elk tag, and we found the elk, and we were in an area we hadn't been in. I talked about this with Trevor on his podcast, but when we found the elk, we were in an area that didn't have cell service, pretty deep snow. To get to the elk was just fine. The kid's he's a dead eye, so it was a chip shot to kill it. But I'm like, we can't do it. And he's like, dude, they're right there, Dad. Like, what do you mean we can't do it? And I said, it's me and you alone in this canyon. I don't have the confidence in my ability right now with no cell service and nobody else to call, in the snow and the conditions that we're in, to be able to go down there and pack this animal out between the two of us. And the look in his eyes, is it killed me. It killed me when he was just like, oh, okay. And that I swore right then and there that'd never happen again. And so, that was actually right there in that first, it was the year before this challenge came out. And then I went to the doctor later on that year, and after I got all my tests, he basically just said, hey, do you want to get old? Because if you don't make some changes, you're not gonna get old. I had all of the markers for prediabetes. I had the mark for hypertension. Just everything wasn't looking very good, and all of that kind of combined with, all right, here's a challenge, here's a motivation, here's a highway to get this done. I'm gonna do this, and if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right, and I'm gonna win this. And that was just kind of the mindset that I had.
Yeah. No, and I love that because you're going way beyond just like, oh, the prize, the money prize or whatnot. You're going like life change. That's I mean, obviously you won, so that was awesome, but it's also
Oh yeah, it
the
was
life
nice. But
change, the
that was,
health.
oh yeah, the prize was gone. It went to Bills in like 3 months. It was gone. I mean,
Right?
Yep.
my daughter was on an accelerated softball team that summer, and so we traveled all over the Western United States playing softball, and that helped to be able to make some of that stuff happen, and had some other things happen. Ended up being off work for a little while, and it helped cover those bills, and so it was perfect timing.
No, that's awesome. And you got your health in that process as well.
Yes,
So
well, and
that's
like I
rad.
said, that's the part that was the motivator for it. The money was a, a little extra, but I had my
Little
health, and
added
I was
bonus.
able to keep moving on, to be there for my kids and my family.
Big motivator.
Yeah. This next question I was going to ask was like, for the current people that are in the challenge, how would you encourage them right now? It sounds like a big piece of that, though, is going to be like, hey, um, if you're falling off the wagon, rediscover your why. If that why is not involving your family, is not involving your health, is only just for the money or the monetary whatever, would you encourage them to go deeper than that level?
So, for those, like, again, for those in the challenge right now that maybe, like you said, that maybe have fallen off the wagon, or that are kind of slowed down a little bit, that have kind of lost a little bit of motivation and things that way, it kind of ties back into a post that I made in the group at the very beginning, and that kind of goes towards having a plan, for what you're going to do when the challenge is over. I think that far too often within this challenge and within anything that we do is we do short-term spurts towards something. And I did this. I made this same mistake. I was so focused on the 90 days, and I didn't have a whole lot of a plan after. I had a plan. Trust me, I had the plan. Kelsey and I, we worked it together. We knew what we were going to do during, after, and how to continue and into the longevity of it on paper, but not in here. And so, for example, on this challenge in and of itself, like, sure, I am participating in the challenge, but my challenge right now isn't a 90-day challenge. My challenge is a 6-month challenge within myself, but that I'm reevaluating and extending every 3 to 6 months, so that I'm trying to push this out, so that it's not just right now. It's a longevity thing, and it's something that pushes out. And so I would hope that those that are looking at it like 90 days is a long time, and it really is, especially when we have the goals that we've got, because all of these goals are usually pretty extreme. I'm going to cut my deficit, I'm going to have a big deficit, or I'm going to cut out whatever, or I'm going to do keto, or I'm going to do carnivore, or I'm going to do all of these different things, and I'm just going to go hard and fast the entire time, and a lot of it turns into where it's not super sustainable. And so if you don't have a plan beyond the 90 days, it gets rough. You hit that 90-day wall, it creates a vacuum because the challenge isn't there anymore. And if you're not prepared for what's going to fill that vacuum, then all of that stuff just kind of falls back into place as it was before, if you don't have a plan for that. And kind of to go back to your question, as far as those that are in it right now, 100%. If you're either discouraged, you're not quite reaching the goals that you felt like you wanted to be at in these 90 days, cool. Hey, maybe for the 90-day it's not working, but you're on the right path to make the changes that you need to make in your life. So let's reevaluate and get back on track for maybe not for the next 6 weeks. We want to do this for life. We want this to be a life change and a life commitment. And so rather than looking at it like, 90 days or bust, this challenge or bust, or I fell off the wagon, so now I'm, I feel like I'm not going to achieve my goals in this challenge. Let's look at it more on a lifetime, on a lifeline, scale.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, especially because with I've had a series of back issues that has really limited me, and I'm so tempted to be like, screw it, man. Like, there's no way I'm going to win. There's no way I'm going to get the results I want in these 90 days. But I love exactly the reframe that you're saying. It's just like, hey, expand past that 90 days. This is about the rest of your life. And so that allows me to go, oh, okay. So do the things necessary to heal my back or take it easy, without the urgency of the 90 days. Just so I am healthy, 6 months in, a year later, and the rest of my life kind of thing. So thank you for that.
Well, 100%. And dude, back issues are no joke. I mean, I had, in 2020, I ruptured a disc and had another one that was compressed and bulging. And a lot of that is where I got to where, that's what got me to where I was when I gained all the weight and where I was in a situation where I had to make all those changes because of the physical inhibitions the physical restrictions or limitations that I had. And I let those things become who I was. I let my injury become who I was. And
identity.
And for me, and everybody's 100% different. I mean, everybody has different things. You and I have talked about it a little bit. Shots help me and different things that way. But for me, ultimately, I had to just decide, and I decided I'm no longer going to be a victim to my injury. And I, for me, and again, it's not everybody, but like, I just was like, okay, forget it. I'm lifting heavy anymore. I'm doing this and doing this and doing this. And I pushed past some of those things, under the direction of a doctor, and I was able to do that.
Sure.
But 100%, if we get locked into, hey, I'm not going to make the 90, so I should be done. Where else are you going to get the group mentality? Where else are you going to get the group support? Where else are you going to have all of that comes with this challenge? The support that you've got from Leighton, from us, from Joe, from everybody else. Utilize it. Maybe it's not to win this one, but it's to win life.
Yeah. I have kind of a two-parter question.
Yeah. Sorry, I kind of made these answers really long.
Oh man, you're great.
No, you're good.
No, this is all free flow. Like,
should be writing this
we
down.
We just have some structure. But did you, during the challenge, did you have to deal with self-sabotage? And if so, what lie was your mind trying to sell you at that point?
Oh, it's constant. Self-sabotage that's like my middle name. I
didn't know this.
Dude, wow.
Yeah, the things you learn about somebody. For me, in the challenge, not as much. And the reason that, like, my self-sabotage is I get really frustrated. I get really, and it's maybe not even with my goals here, but with life or whatever. And my go-to is and always has been, and I would probably dare say always will be, I got to eat something that I like or that I enjoy or that I want. And I don't just go eat a little bit of it. I go eat a lot of it. Like I said, I'll eat a whole tube of chocolate chip cookie dough in one sitting.
All in.
And that's just an appetizer. Julie's laughing at
She's like, the family knows,
that's always been my thing. It's been like, hey, you know what? I don't know how to cope with what I'm dealing with right now. And my coping mechanism is that whatever you want to call it, dopamine or whatever that comes from eating chocolate, eating food, eating whatever. And so for me, the way that I combated that throughout the challenges, I didn't give anything up. I've seen people that'll give up whatever. They do, specific diets. They do specific, keto or carnivore, or we've talked about those. And nothing against those. If they work for you, more power to you. They don't work for me, because anytime I give something up, when I finally get to the point where I felt like I've accomplished those goals and I'm going to move on to something else, whatever I gave up comes back tenfold, and I gorge on it. I think the day after the challenge, I went to Chili's and I ate like 4 baskets of their chips and salsa by myself. So I didn't give anything up. You were asking about what was one of the mental challenges that came about for me about the midpoint in the challenge, and that's Easter. And one of my favorite treats is peppery cream eggs. And so I'll go broke trying to find and eating them, but I don't cut them out. So like I know that it's 80 calories for one of them. I can eat one. I'm going to include it in it. My goals have always been protein based, fiber based, and then like protein, fiber, and then calories. As far as how that's like the priority for me whenever I'm going to be trying to do this. I want to hit my protein. I'm shooting for 300 grams of protein. If I get 250, I'm happy. I want to get 30 grams of fiber. If I hit those and I'm still under my calories, hey, I can have a treat. And I had a candy bar almost every day of some sort or another. Reese's was always my go-to, and then the performance bars actually helped kind of get me away from those as much. I love the performance bars. The caramel crunch. I don't know if you remember Star Crunch from back in the day when we were kids. The Little Debbie stacks. The caramel crunch performance bars are a lot like those, so they're a little nostalgic for me. But
nice. Layton's too young for that. He wouldn't know what those are.
Someone's listening to this and they're gonna relapse on their chocolate.
You know what?
This sounds amazing.
They might.
Cody did it. Why could I?
Yeah, right. But,
yeah.
Well,
I
love
ultimately that's what I guess what we're getting at is that's how I didn't relapse. Is on my during the challenge was I didn't relapse because I didn't cut it out. I limited it, and there were parameters to it.
Sure.
But
everything in moderation.
In moderation, I didn't cut anything out. I mean, I was still in a 1,000-calorie deficit, but
that's awesome.
I just made sure that I ate the nutrient dense foods in a way that allowed me to have that.
Yeah, Drew and I were like that a lot too. Is self-sabotage. Well, maybe more me. I don't know, but like to where if I cut something out completely, it's all I freaking wanted. Like
that's it. I focus on it. If I cut it out, that's all I want.
100%. Yeah, and it's not fair to yourself,
No,
like, we're not supposed to starve ourselves of everything. It's just moderation,
Right?
So,
yeah.
That's great.
Well, I mean, no, but what I hear you say is like, cut out what you want to. You don't need to go crazy. If it is a stumbling block, figure a way around it, whether it be, the protein bars or whatever, but don't make it such a big thing that you binge, and then you derail and that mental process as well. You just head down just self-sabotaging in that. So that's good. No, it's good stuff because you can easily get
along the lines of self-sabotage is when I do fall off. Like if I have a goal or whatever, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna eat this. Then it turns into, well, I ate that, so my days. Today is now toast. And so I got Julie helping me find the right word.
Yeah.
So today's done for. I'm done with today. So that means that I can go all out on whatever I want today because I already messed it up. So I had the one Oreo. Oh man, now I can eat the whole entire carton of Oreos because I already screwed my day up.
Oh man.
So that's my self-sabotage, and so I recommend don't do that. Don't do that.
We did that for years, and it's just like now it blows my mind. It's just like, dude, I just gave a little bit, so then I just threw it all away, like all for nothing,
I'll start over tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I might be there right now, actually. Oh,
no, you're not.
I don't know.
Fly
Some
up
days.
there, and I'll beat you out of it.
Hey, if that's the way I see you in person, that'd be great.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he misses his brother.
This episode is outfitted by Pendulum Threads, built for the hybrid athlete. Whether you're in the gym, on the trail, or chasing your next challenge, their gear moves with you. Head to pendulumthreads.com and use code COUNTDOWN2 for 15% off your order. Pendulum Threads. Perfect comfort, perfect performance.
So at the halfway point, how was the balance between work, training, and family really feeling?
So we kind of touched on it a little bit. For me, it all was all in one. It all had to be one unit. That balance had to be there. My family was with me on board. I had coworkers at work that were with me on board. Part of the reason, and we'll go back to what motivated me to finish. I had a friend who told me, "You won't do this." And I mean,
Thanks, bud.
ask Julie or anybody that knows me. You say what? I won't. Okay. And that was a good motivator for me. But tell me I won't, and I probably will. But the having everyone on board, coworkers, family, friends, and doing it together, it truly, that the balance was there. And I think that's what ultimately led to the success that I was able to have was having that balance.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Were there moments, though, in that where you felt like, I mean, life's going to happen. Life's going to stack up. Things are going to happen where you just, I mean, they would really challenge your commitment, though. Any moments like that?
I have had those moments, yes, and I have had them in other challenges. And this is the one where I'm going to say no. In this one, I didn't have those so much.
Wow, okay.
From that perspective. I mean, I did have some outside things, that were trying to derail me a little bit, but I was so committed, and my family was so committed, and my friends and coworkers that this particular challenge, we were pretty focused. We were pretty dialed in on this is what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to accomplish. Now, whether I win or not, that's left to be told, but I'm going to accomplish what I want to accomplish outside of winning, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Win your personal goals
100%.
that you have. By this point, did your family notice a shift in you physically or mentally?
I think so.
I hope so.
I mean, hugs maybe lingered a little longer. Julie's feeling muscles in my back that weren't there before. I don't know. My daughter just choked. But she's like, "What's that muscle?" or whatever. No, I think so. And I think that's something that helps kind of push you through things is when you start to notice. There's a timeline for successes, as people talk about. After a certain amount of time, when you start to notice changes in yourself, and then after a certain other period of time, people start to notice changes in you, and things go that direction, and it definitely helps. It definitely pushes and adds a catalyst to continue driving and continue pushing.
Yeah, but that makes sense. So you mentioned a little bit about hunting and the season right before you got really committed. You had some wake up calls, so to speak.
Yes.
Whether you were identifying like I seriously can't take this deer or this elk out of this ravine. Which, by the way, you're being very responsible. That was great. And then also, your doctor saying, "Hey, bro, you got to make some life changes here. Otherwise, you're not going to age. You're not going to get old. You're going to die off." With now 2024 under your belt, this last season, stuff like that, how did you notice in your hunting, or have you gone hunting since? And did you notice big changes in like, oh my gosh, I can scale this mountain way easier than I did before. I could pack this mule out way better than I had thought I could. Were there any direct changes in that?
Yeah, absolutely. That year after that challenge in 2024, I didn't end up hunting a lot. I had, like I said, I kind of mentioned it before. I had some other issues. I kind of had some mental issues that I kind of dealt with a little bit that derailed me for a little while. Part of that was that vacuum that I hadn't prepared for. Part of that was just other things in life. It just kind of seemed like I was doing what needed to be done. And while I was doing what needed to be done, the forces were pushing pretty hard against me the opposite direction. And I had to deal with that. And a lot of that pushed through hunting season. We hunt a lot as a family. I like to help other people hunt quite a bit. But I didn't do a ton of that year. But in that I did, absolutely being able to hike, being able to scale mountains, being able to get to the animal and to get him in, get him out. It most definitely, there's a difference there. Being
I
able,
love that.
when I'm packing out an animal that weighs 150 pounds in my pack, plus the 100 pounds I'm carrying, it's noticeable when that extra 50 to 60 pounds isn't there 100%.
Right, exactly. No, that's great.
This last, so that was in 24, didn't hunt a ton in 24. 25 season came around, and 100%, those things were still there, still noticeable. Through my challenge, I got down to around 248 in the challenge, and then I ended up losing another 15 or so pounds in a not very healthy way. So I got down around 230. I'm going to say my fighting weight's right around 260. And so, I lost a ton of strength, lost a ton of, I had the tone to look good with my shirt off, but I sure didn't feel good. I mean, I felt good. I felt good on a cardiovascular way. I felt good on an endurance way, but I'd lost a ton of the strength that I'm used to having. And that's kind of what I mean, I'm a big dude. I'm 6'4" right now. I'm sitting around 280. But a lot of that's just, I built the muscle back up to that point. This challenge, I'm wanting to get back down around that 260 mark. And that's where I want to stay. So I don't know. I kind of went in a lot of different directions in there.
No,
But
you're
I don't know
good.
if that answers. I don't know if that answers your question.
And I mean, that's actually motivation for Leighton because 260 is about his ideal weight as well.
Okay. I'm like 186. Yeah.
Soaking wet.
Yeah, I know. I'm 6'1".
Oh man, no, I love it. That's great.
I do want to kind of go. Hey, like I don't want to direct your podcast or anything, but I do like kind of a section of questions that you had in here that I do want to talk about because it has affected me a little bit. Where it talks about, did I fall into comparison, looking at other competitors and wondering if things were going to be doing enough? If that's all right, if we kind of touch on that,
Yeah.
Because to me that is something that that was had a huge effect on me. Not so much during the challenge. It did motivate. I don't know if you can remember during that challenge we had, we had the Bacas, we had the Vasquez, we had several people in that challenge that were pretty gung ho and die hard. Like,
Yeah.
I've never been an everyday poster. I will never be an everyday poster, but there are some, and more power to you if you are. I think that's awesome. People use that as a tool to motivate. They use it as a tool to stay on track.
Yeah.
But that it drove me a lot. But there were some pretty competitive people in that 2024 challenge, and that drove me during the challenge. But when it comes to whether or not I compare, I have we're gonna call it imposter syndrome. I have it bad. As part of this whole Mountain Ops challenge, being a part of it, being a part of Mountain Ops, then becoming at that point in time somebody who's at the forefront in some of their marketing and different things that way through after the challenge and things that way, that hit me pretty hard. I wasn't mentally prepared necessarily for that, and because of that comparison aspect, like going back to that imposter syndrome, I'm just a dude. I'm not one of the social media influencers. I don't want to be an influencer. I'm not trying to build my own brand. I don't want to build my own brand. If I do anything at all, and if you ever see me post anything at all, it's because I love Mountain Ops. I love Nick and Trevor. I love what they stand for. I love all of these things, and that's why I do what I do. But then I look at all these other guys. I look at and I'm not going to name names because they'll get mad at me if I do, because I've actually had some conversations with some of these guys and girls. But just that comparison of I'm not them. They have all of these things that even though I've achieved what I've achieved, I'm not them. I'm not up to snuff. I don't deserve to be in this conversation with these people. and it really messed with me for a long time. You know, I had a hard time, and then even after, you know, I lost more weight and then I gained some of that weight back. You know, I felt like I'm not representing mountain ops in the way that I
Ah,
feel like should be represented, and you know, I've had conversations with people within mountain ops about that. You know, and they've said that's bogus. Like you need to
yeah,
get that out of your head. I mean, you
yeah,
represent what it's like to be a dad, a father, a husband, you know, all of these different things. And, you know, I need to stop comparing myself to, to other people. And that's something that I really did struggle with a lot.
yeah.
And it was very real. I mean, it was rough. And I've gotten better at it. I don't do it near as much. I mean, after having some of those conversations and then, you know, being basically told to knock it off. You know, just be you and do yourself. Be
Yeah.
yourself. You know, people like you for who you are. Kind of a conversation, and it's weird, you know, to have that conversation and talk about those things. You know, I'm not, you know, like I said, I'm a big dude. I'm pretty confident. I've got a loud voice. You know, people don't look at me as one of those guys that struggles with confidence, but I do.
Hmm.
You know, and I
Yeah,
have,
sure.
and a lot of that is comparison. That's comparing myself to others. And then, you
Yeah.
know, later on you realize that, hey, that's person that I compared with, they're going through a lot of the similar struggles that I am.
Yeah.
And they're doing some of the same things. And so I think it's really important that we know and understand that dynamic.
Oh, 100%. And Leighton and we talk about this often because there's times where we'll be kind of tripped up with even this podcast where we're just like, what are we doing here? Like, we're not influencers. We're not ripped out of our minds. We're some of the stuff we're making up as we go. Well, maybe myself, not Leighton, but
I'm just kidding.
but what, but we stand on kind of the principles behind our podcast is just, hey, this is about the journey. This is not about arrival. It's not
Right.
about like, hey, look at us and all that we've achieved. It's like, hey, come alongside and let's do this together. I mean, that's our whole goal in this podcast is to build up others and do this together. And I get it where it's like, you won Mountain Ops challenge and then you gain some weight or whatever. But it's like I love that because you're normal. You're just a normal dude, and I don't mean that like not special. I'm just saying that like there's too often where we have these comparisons or these examples out in on social media that's just outlandish. We can never be these crazy people who are sitting there saying, "Hey, go harder," do these crazy things. I mean, that's a great way to burn out, for sure.
It is, and we, you know, we had that conversation, and it's written in here kind of to talk about some of those big names and things that way, and I don't want to disparage them at all in any way, shape,
Sure,
or form.
sure.
I think that there's those guys that come in and they motivate in the way that they do, based on where they are at in their life,
Yeah.
and but they didn't start there, and that's what I think a lot of people get discouraged is they don't recognize or they don't want to recognize that the people that they're trying to emulate, you know, that are running or doing a million pull-ups or doing whatever, or, you know, whatever it is, those people didn't start there. But a lot
Yeah.
of people that are jumping in to follow them think that they can start there, and that's how they end up burning out and falling off the wagon.
Right.
You know, I wanted to kind of bring up something that Trevor brought up today in a post, where he talked about, I thought it was interesting, but he talked about how it's too easy to look beyond the mark, to chase more and lose focus on what matters most. And to me, I think that that's kind of ties into what we're talking about right here, where it's okay to want to follow that motivation. It's okay to get your blood boiling, like to use their words and their hype and and to strive for those things. But you've got to recognize that you aren't them. You're you. You're in the station of life that you are. You might be
Yep.
using that stuff to get to a better station in life, but if you focus too much on that and it becomes too much and you can't handle it and you fall off and you fall away, what did you achieve at that point? You know?
Right.
And so I've never bought into the, you got to go hard. Just this nonstop, go, 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 go. You can't, don't take your foot off the pedal, because I don't think it's sustainable for most people. 100% it is
Yeah.
sustainable for some people. 100%. There
Right.
are those that are there. I'm not one of them that's like that. I do get
Right.
in periods of time like that, but but that's just not me. And I think too many people fall into that, and they want to be that right now.
Yeah.
And so I mean, like I said, I don't want to disparage them because they're awesome. Those guys, they're great. Those and girls, they're great motivators, and they've done great things and they've accomplished great things, and I think that's a great tool to use. You know,
Yeah, but
taking ownership of
definitely
all of those
reality.
things. But
I want to add real quick. Us three have dealt with self-sabotage in the past,
yeah,
and we try and try and try and fail, and then we prove we did something really hard. You won, Conquer 90. Drew and I changed our lives, and we proved it to ourselves that we can. That we
Yeah.
fought against the lie in our head, because we didn't have proof like that before. We believed our mind of like, oh yeah, I suck, or I wasn't good enough, or I will never be good enough. We
Right.
pushed through that, and that's why I would encourage people listening that are in the halfway point. It's like, keep proving to yourself and
100%.
finish strong
Yeah.
that you can do this, and then you ride that wave for the rest of your life, basically.
Yeah, if you came into it with the mentality of I'm going to follow the motivation of this one particular public speaker or this one particular whatever, and they are go go go, and you came into this that first week at go 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 go, and then now you're into week 5 and 6, and that go go is now just go,
Yeah, yeah.
some of that, like, hey, take a step back, reevaluate where you're at, recognize that hey, you've still got it in you. Let's go. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be at this level and at this extreme all the time. It's just got to be something. It's got to be one foot in front of the other, and just don't be stagnant. Don't stay where you in one place, but let's get there in a sustainable rate. And I'm not trying to be conservative. I think that some people will, they'll tell me, hey, you're trying to tell people to just be conservative and not go all out. And I'm not. If that's you, do it. Go ahead. I love it.
Sure.
Do your thing.
Yep.
I've watched so many people fall off the wagon because of that, and me being one of them, because it's just not sustainable.
Yeah, we always talk about, if you need rest, but make sure it's productive to where it's your body healing versus your brain telling you to quit, and then give yourself grace. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
be kind to yourself. Like, if you need to take a step back a little bit, do it, and then come back stronger the next day.
I'm
Or
doing
go-
this so that I can play with my grandkids when, I can go and play catch with my grandkids and go take them hunting and all those things. And it benefits my family now. It benefits my kids now. But my goals are long-term. It's longevity versus, but yeah, I 100% agree with you.
I love this. This is great.
Yeah, keep going. Don't stop.
No, I mean, that's really kind of what it is. Sorry to
Run
kind
somebody over.
of sorry to hijack the pilot seat a little bit, but
No,
but
this is
no,
good.
as I was
you're our
going
guest.
through and some of the bull.
Yeah, you're our guest. We want you to run with it because people get tired of hearing Leighton.
But
Bro.
no, I think that that's
Sorry.
100%. Those that are in that situation in the middle now, especially those that are kind of looking at it like, hey, I kind of I screwed up the last couple of weeks. I'm not where I feel like I should be right now. So what's the point of me continuing, pushing through to the end when I'm not where I want to be or when I fell off? And I think that's a backwards attitude. It's an easy attitude to fall into, but it's kind of backwards. I hope that whoever listens to this, if they take anything from it, is just, hey, reevaluate today, and where am I at today? Where do I want to be tomorrow? Don't look at it on the 90 day anymore. We're in it. We're doing it. You already committed to the 90 day. You entered the challenge. You took those steps. You did those things. But where am I at today? Where do I want to be tomorrow? And just take it one day at a time. I think it was Justin that said, you can't eat an elephant. Right? What's the best way to eat elephants? It's one bite at a time.
Yeah.
By the way, I've loved listening to the podcast. James is a stud. I mean, listening to Ethan and Abby, it's been amazing. When you talk about comparisons, a lot of for me, it's like, hey, what James went through. I didn't go through something like that. My story's not motivational because I didn't go through what James went through, or I didn't go through, postpartum, which would be really weird because I'm, a guy. But, so my story's not relatable, or, that's going back to that comparison thing. It's just, we're so good at comparing ourselves to other people. When you hear everybody's names, when people talk about the group and talk about Mountain Ops and James and Joseph and Baca and the list goes on and on and on and on. And I'm like, it's incredible. We have such an amazing group, and Drew and Leighton, and it's I don't know. I think there's some people that think that we're kind of a little bit strange. and I like that. I embrace that.
Because Cody, you mentioned not having a like direct mental plan for after the challenge.
Right.
Can you walk us through like the shift from I'm doing a challenge to, you know, this is who I am now and continuing on after that?
For me, it just, I was all in, and it was all in on the challenge, and that was everything that I was focused on.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that alienated my wife and my kids and my family and my job, because they were all in with me in and of that time. So we were all in and all focused on those things. But when the challenge ended and I took my foot off the gas per se, I mentioned it before. It was almost kind of like it created a vacuum, and that's when, temptation, of the sugars and those other things came in. That's when the focus changed to other things, and that's when, I mean, I don't want to get really deep into the weeds on it, but I suffer from anxiety pretty bad. I get way wrapped up in things, and it's an issue that I deal with a lot. And I let it derail me, and I have in the past let it derail me. And I didn't have a mental plan for how to continue after, and how to keep going with, or how to understand, or how to really navigate the letdown of the focus that I had during the challenge.
Right.
I didn't do it well. So for me to be able to come in and tell other people how to do it, I don't know that I'm the best at how to do it, because I did it terrible. But I would recommend, that people are looking at, hey, how am I going to navigate this when this is done? How am I going to continue to, even if I take my foot off the gas just a little bit, keep my foot on the gas so that I'm continuing through, and I have good positive motivators, and I have good positive sustainable goals, that allow me to continue to focus on the things that I want to achieve.
Yeah,
And talk
man.
to people. I don't know if you guys noticed, one of the things that I love, that I like to post, and I don't know that I do it all the time, but who did you reach out and check on today? I'll put it in my post every once in a while. It's like, hey, did you check? Is there anybody that you haven't reached out and checked on today? I think it gets, mental health is stigmatized, and we go through it far too often. I've lost, far too many people in our career, in my job field, and throughout, where, at some point, hey, if someone would have reached out to those people and checked on them, would they still be around, type situation. And I don't want to get too deep into that, but,
Sure. But that's
hey,
legit.
at the end of the day, if you've listened to this, I want you to think about somebody that you haven't spoken to for a while, that you don't know what their situation is, and reach out to them. Just a simple, hey, just a hi, just a, how are you? What's going on? What's new? Or you know what? Drop $5 in their Venmo and say, hey, go get a drink on me, or a snack or whatever, just to reach out so that they know someone's thinking about them.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful.
Drew, if you
and
want to send me money, that'd be awesome.
What's that?
I said,
when
Drew,
Leighton-
if you want to start sending me money for
This is when
food,
Leighton
that'd be
posts his
awesome.
Venmo on the screen at the bottom of the podcast.
Yeah, sure. No, but on that note, with community and such, and I always love your posts because you're a great encourager. But what would you say about the summit? I would, like, in the sense of, like, with the current people grinding right now, whether they win or lose, or not lose, I don't think there's really a loss. But whether they win or not, let's just say it that way. How important do you think the summit is, to just anybody? How would you encourage them to go?
So I'm a Mountain
what's it
Ops
mean to you?
fanboy as it is, and so, like, when it comes to, I mean, call it what you want, anything and everything to do with Mountain Ops to me is a motivator. The backstory, Trevor's story all the way through, what he overcame, how he overcame it, and who he is, and how he applies everything of who he really is to every aspect of his life, is something that I've always drawn strength from. And for the past two summits, I'm terrible with names, so I'm not even going to try. But the keynote speakers and the people that they bring in, and just the camaraderie, and being able to be there and do the workouts with each other, and to do some of the conquer hunger together, and and have those experiences. To me, it's just something that there's a reason my family's going to be there with me. It's because I want them to feel the same thing too. And I feel like anybody and everybody, no matter where you're at in life, can gain from participation in the summit and doing those things. And if you walk away without having your cup filled, then you've got other issues you probably ought to work at. But we love it. And you know, and yeah, I think it's absolutely something that, you know, for me, I have to be careful because I live in Utah. So for me to get to the summit, it's not an extreme sacrifice.
Sure.
I do take time off work. I've already scheduled time off work this summer so that we can be to the summit. But it's not an extreme sacrifice for people that have to fly and get hotels and rental cars and all that kind of thing. It's a different level. You know, but I would say that I feel like it would be worth it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, and I
confession.
agree with that. One thing that really, damn it, come on.
Well, go ahead, Drew.
No, I'm waiting on you because you are confessing something, and that's legit. Go.
So this will be my first summit. I got plane tickets, but my confession is not only did I the wrong date, I got the wrong month. I booked tickets for June, and I don't know what I was thinking. And I texted Drew. I was like, "Yeah, I got my tickets," and he confirmed the date. And I was like, "Are you messing with me? That's not the date."
Never mind.
I had to spend time on the phone.
Well, keep your tickets. Keep your tickets and come to Utah, and you two can come ride some of the best mountain biking trails in the country.
This is true.
We'll go back to Moab. Let's do it.
Oh no, heck
No,
no, not Moab. No way, no Moab's. That's old news, dude. We got mountain trails here in Richfield that are the best.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
It's called Spinal Tap for a reason.
I don't need that.
I was like, yeah, that's what we need.
Or maybe I do.
Yeah.
No,
I've got a lot of friends that mountain bike religiously. They go to Moab all the time, and they say that the trails that we've got built here, and I say I'm going to take pride in my county, my area, but I had nothing to do with building them. I don't mountain bike. The last time I got on a mountain bike, I went off a 6-inch jump, and I broke the derailleur, bent both rims, broke the front fork, and so.
That's awesome.
What's the region called? Did you say Ridgeport?
Richfield.
Okay. But hey, real quick, back to the summit. No, I agree with you. It is very ideal. And from a perspective, this will be my third one. Coming from a place where Eric McCormick is next level. Who leads the group workouts. Yeah. Who leads the group workouts, and like me being a smaller dude and not too impressive in the sense of just like being a real super physical fit person. I was timid, and both times, but going in there, the group aspect, the group energy, I mean, it changed your whole perspective on things, and what you're capable of. And it's fun. I mean, he makes it fun. He'll kill you, but he makes it fun in the death. And so that aspect, and then like you say, the speakers, but just the camaraderie. I mean,
100%.
Everybody. Like I remember our first time going there, and Trevor, the CEO, is like, "Hey, Drew, glad you could come." And I'm like, "Whoa, you know my name?" He's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely. We follow along.
Right.
We and he's constantly encouraging people, and it's just this awesome experience that you take away, and that could satisfy the rest of the year. I mean, it's life changing. So I encourage anyone that's on the fence or whatnot to try to make it happen, because it's awesome. And make sure you get the right dates. Like some people, don't. And
such an old Leighton move. It's like, freaking
come on, man.
I think
it
just kind of goes to show that Mountain Ops is a supplement company, but Mountain Ops is a culture, and it's much more than just products that you can buy. The people involved. You talked about he knew your name. The very first time I went there, we walked past his office with my family, and he was in a meeting. He kind of waved at us, and I didn't think much of it. I'm like, hey, kept walking. They did the tour. We got home. He messaged me on Instagram and said, hey, sorry I didn't get a chance to say hi while you were here. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
What? He took time to find my Instagram, to reach out and say hi to me. And I don't know. I love the dude.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Cannot wait.
And then another aspect of the challenge or the summit that I really encourage is if you've never experienced a Cody Barton bear hug, you're missing out.
Oh, jeez.
You're missing out, dude. Like, so one of two things. One, either you were the root cause of my back issues or you helped. But the way you hug, man, you're just, your body kind of crumples, but it's also comforting. So,
Oh,
yeah, there you go. The Cody Barton hug. You got to get that in there. So
that's that's awesome. You get hugs to go around.
there you go. So, hey, let's wrap this up. We really appreciate you being on the show. We really, I don't know. I wanted you on. You were kind of hesitant, but I'm like, dude, like, you're such an encourager. You're such a motivator, from real life, practical experiences, and coming from a place that's very humble, which we love. And we love it.
Yeah, I hope you don't. I hope you don't take that personal. I hesitate more. Just kind of comes back to that. Like it's I don't need to be. There's other people that are better than me, But no, I appreciate you having me on. I really do.
And we love the aspect that, like, one big factor, and we see it, is that you include your family in everything. That's beautiful, because you took on more stuff, more working out, more grinding, all that stuff like that. And in that, you didn't take away from your family. Something's got to give, but you included them in it so that they weren't missing out on you and you them, which is beautiful. And so, I mean, there's just nuggets that I'm going to have to listen to this episode over and over again because it's so good. So thank you so much for being on.
I appreciate it. No, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, and thanks, man.
Leighton, do you have any closure? Nothing?
No, this was so motivating that before we started the episode, I was drained. I was at 20%. I texted my fiance. I was just like, I'm at 20%. Can you please take care of dinner? And while I do this, and my cup is full again. So from this, so I appreciate you, man. Like,
I'm happy to hear it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now go get a chocolate chip cookie dough and pound it.
Heck yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
All right, and we'll see you at the summit, buddy.
Absolutely, we'll be there.
All right, thanks, man.
Awesome.
Yep. See ya.